This segment sponsored by Summit Physical Therapy. I am at Summit Physical Therapy, which offers high-quality physical therapy services and state-of-the-art techniques. And today I'm going to go inside and learn about their free assessment and their Don't Fall program. Let's do it. Joining me now is Ashley Holt, who is a physical therapist, and Austin Jacoby, physical therapist assistant. Hello, how are you guys doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Okay, so let's dive into this really cool program that you all offer here at Summit Physical Therapy, which is the Don't Fall program. I feel like we all need that.
Yeah.
So give me an overview and kind of a recap about the program.
So it's a free program that Summit Physical Therapy offers to essentially try to prevent falls in a population that would risk having a fall at home. And we're trying to catch it on the front end to try to prevent that unfortunate circumstance from happening.
And what would be some of the causes for people to have falls just around their home?
Well, there can be a lot of causes. So we look at, with this assessment, we'll look at like what kind of, do they have any fall history? If they're, usually a fall assessment would be good for somebody who's 65 years and older, or if they have fallen twice in the past year. And then we'll look at their medication list. Usually people who are on 4 medications or more are at higher risk for falls because those we all know that medications interact with each other, and it's hard to determine who's going to have bad interactions and who's going to have not bad interactions. And that can be like low blood pressure or getting dizzy when you get up, or just like not being able to feel where you are. So we'll look at that, and then we also look at their home environment. When they fall, is it over a rug? Do they not have good lighting in their home so they can't see obstacles? And so we can talk about modifications with that. And then the last part, the part that we really focus on, is the strength and the balance testing. So what we do with that is there's certain balance tools that we use for different levels of people. So even if you are high functioning in the community, there are balance tests out there for you that would show deficits. And so then it would be like, once we find those deficits, what kind of exercises can we give that person so that way they do not have a fall, or at least they can work on things to prevent a fall from happening if they haven't had one.
Yeah, so you make a really good point, because I think sometimes people assume that a fall is age related, but really, I mean, it could be medications, as you said, something off with your equilibrium, or just so many other things. And so this test really helps them identify it by you going through each steps of the assessment. And the best thing about it is that the assessment is free, which is really nice.
That is the best thing about it, and who can say no to that? And a lot of people think, well, I'm healthy, I walk, and it's really been shown that walking is not enough for balance.
Yeah.
Because you're just moving forward and you're just doing the same kind of motions every day. Life is not the same every day. We have to adapt and we have to change. So we focus on how do they do those things and which parts of those things do they not do well, and then try to fix them.
Yeah, and so I'm sure that you work with so many different patients on this, and so you have this specific balancing test. So kind of share with me, Ashley, about the test and like which areas do you actually have them walk through?
So some of the testing that we do is for lower level patients that have a lot of balance, like say they've had falls in the past, like say they've had 2 falls in the past year. Some simple ones would be like standing with your feet together, closing your eyes, and seeing how much sway they have. Do they lose their balance? Do they need help? Do they need support? And then some of the higher, as you move up, some of the higher level things would be like, how do you respond to those external forces that happen in day-to-day life? Say you're out in the community and somebody bumps into you. Can you withstand that bump? So pushing somebody in the chest a couple times to see how they respond to that. Can they correct that?
Yeah.
Because all balance is really trying to keep your center of gravity within your base of support. But life isn't always like that. So how do you correct it when it gets outside the base of support is where we see problems. And then the final thing is the biggest one, you talked about that equilibrium. So what happens when you move your head side to side? Because our balance is made up of 3 systems. And so each one of those tests are testing these 3 different systems. So we can really see what system is failing this person, whether that be sensory, their eyesight, or that equilibrium that we have.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's really great. And so Austin, share with me about the outcome of this test. So people come in, they get the assessment under the Don't Fall program. What can people expect for the next steps?
Yeah, I think our best case outcome is that someone is a low fall risk. So we test them out and it shows, hey, you're actually pretty safe. And so here's like the 1 or 2 areas, kind of like when you get your car checked out at a shop. Here's kind of like your yellow light areas that you want to work on, and we give some exercises, some tips and guidance to them or their caregiver who attends with them. And they work on it, and hopefully we prevented the things from getting worse. But sometimes people do end up in that medium or high fall risk. We get them stand up out of a chair and they fall back into the chair, or we shut their eyes and all of a sudden they need help. And that's just a high indicator of this person's probably going to experience a fall. Unfortunately, 1 out of 5 people in that kind of fall risk category are going to experience a hospitalization that is related to a fall, whether it's a broken hip or a brain injury. And so when we know the statistics are high like that, we want to take that person in that medium or high risk, and we want to offer them our services.
Okay, that's great, because as you said, prevention is always better than actually falling and then having to fix it. But if they fall and they need fixing, then you guys are here to help them.
And it has been shown that with like 6 to 9 visits over a year even, it doesn't have to be all at once, but if we just like slowly work on this, 6 to 9 visits over a year can decrease a fall up to 35%.
Oh, wow.
So it's not like it can't be changed or modified. And then with all those home modifications too, if you reduce the risk that way, it's even more. And so then we just keep people safer and keep them at home longer, which is our ultimate goal.
Yes,
Yep.
and if someone is interested in learning more about your Don't Fall program and signing up for this free assessment, where should they go?
Yeah, they should go to our website and ultimately just give us a call and let us know that they would like to take advantage of that. And then we just schedule a little 30-minute appointment and kind of see what the best case scenario is for them.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica.
Appreciate
Thank you,
it. Yes.
Jessica.
And if you would like more information about Summit Physical Therapy, we'll have their website listed below, and I'll see you after the break. This segment sponsored by Summit Physical Therapy.